Greetings, hello, and welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm ImperialJedi. This is our first look at surviving Mars. And yeah, Paradox was nice enough to give us a copy ahead of the March 15th launch for us to investigate and have some fun with. So let's just do exactly that. And if you're brand new to the game, Surviving Mars is a colony survival game set on Mars. There you go, you're caught up. Perfect. So let's start a new colony, and let's see how far we can get. I've been more or less working on this kind of starting strategy for about a week or so now. About 25, 26 hours in, maybe a little more to the game. So I'm going to be making some tutorial style videos later on when the game gets launched. You know, pun intended. So if you guys are looking for a little bit of starting help, definitely stay tuned for that. But right now, you know, I might be moving a little bit quick and stuff, but I'm sure there's some takeaways here. But what I'm doing is not by accident, put it that way. So we're starting on this because of yeah, all the different things I've tried. And this, I think, for the moment, is a pretty good starting strategy. All right, let's hop in, see what we can get done. Okay, I just want one of these and one of you. Okay. So you have basically the entire surface to land on. But again, I've kind of scoured almost everywhere. You can see there's like tons of options in terms of like, you know, resources and threats, right? Just the fine balance. And I've kind of narrowed down my starting area to like quite literally right in between these two. Oh, that's it right away. So just not too much threats, amazing amount of resources, pretty flat too. And, you know, if you're looking for more of a challenge, obviously you can go, you know, different spots, but this is just kind of where I'm going to be. And then, I mean, the goal of these videos, really, we're not going to get too far. I want to keep some stuff kind of like, you know, a fun little surprise when you get the game for yourself. But we'll play, you know, we'll get a colony going. We'll see how far we can go. Play until we feel like we've done enough. But definitely expect, like, you know, a Let's Play series, some tutorial videos and stuff when the game comes out, specifically on this. Alright, actually, it's a pretty good starting spot. Down in the valley here, we're not too far away from some extractable resources. Let's put our ship down in between. And we'll just start grabbing some concrete and some base metals and that kind of stuff in just 1 second. I want to actually bring in some more cargo before I forget. And I'm just basically bringing stuff down that isn't necessarily easy to either find or make early on. And there's some stuff that's just not really applicable just yet. So you might be like, oh, why aren't you grabbing that? Well, just not yet, you know? Okay, I just need a little bit of this too. Excellent. And starting with Space Y, which is kind of a play on SpaceX, of course, we get 5 starting rockets. And I'm just going to use these ones here. So my last one to send for the moment. And even though we have only drones on the surface, I'm going to be a little bit preemptive and just bring some food for like emergency storage type thing. And my thought behind that is I've had it where like my first few crops have failed, so it's always nice to have a little backup. Okay, so these are on their way to the planet. We can eventually refuel these and send them back to Earth, which is really cool. So they're reusable rockets, which is like awesome fun. Okay, so we want to just first start by putting down a depot. We want somewhere for our goods to be delivered to. We're going to put that near our concrete, because that's going to be just kind of like our central collection kind of hub area. So we'll drop these down, and then we'll start worrying about getting a power grid in. And just the basic power grid is going to be more or less a box. And the thought process behind this is if there's a fault or a break in any one spot, we can just kind of reroute the power. And then this will be on its own separate line. So just like any engineering or like, you know, aeronautical, that kind of stuff, everything's going to be just redundant, backup, safety, like that kind of stuff. So we're going to give ourselves essentially the best fighting chance on the surface here. I'm going to treat it like we really are on Mars. Like, you know, it takes like months to get stuff back and forth, you know. So we'll be efficient, and yeah, we'll kind of have that kind of mentality. All right, start getting some power and some production. And because we are doing concrete over here, I'm going to get some concrete-only depots. Put down the 3 of them. Let's drop down the first of our drone hubs. Let's use this corner right here. And I'm going to put down our sensor tower right next to that. And just in the event of an emergency, I'm going to make sure we have battery connection so we at least have one hub that will forever be connected. And then also I'm going to give these guys a wind turbine. Alright, so before I turn the speed up, let's just grab some research and some area to explore. And then we'll start motoring away. Beautiful. So we have an overhead probe that kind of circles the planet, and it can do some scans for us. And if it detects any anomalies or anything cool, we can go investigate with some rovers. Alright, tech. Oh, nice. This is really good to have early on. So this is just random, which is really cool. But we got apartment buildings early, so we can bring some more colonists. It's pretty efficient. And faster harvesting for our transports. That's good, because that'll help maximize our battery life. I don't think we need to surface heat just yet. That'll be later on. And yeah, I would say that water production, that's pretty key. So that'll help boost that. All right, great. So let's turn up to 3-speed here. And let's start moving. So I like to have universal depots pretty much everywhere, as long as they're more or less within range of each other and within the boundary of your drone hub. They'll just kind of seamlessly move goods around, which is really, really cool. So it just seems like there's a big automated system governing all your drones here. And that helps with construction and maintenance and stuff. So it's really cool. All right, let's start moving. Which way was up or down for the... There's her. So I'm going to start expanding towards this extractable resource area, and that's going to be where the first of our domes is going to go down. So we're just going to go up here, and we're just now out of the range of our drones, but that is no problemo. And again, everything is just for redundancies and for backups. And so, for example, this I would not say is backed up just yet, because we still have just the one connection here. So let's just do a little bow tie. Oh, that's rest in peace symmetry. Try that again. That was a bit better. And if we want to, we could upgrade this to a cap. These are all very scientific terms here. Now we got the kitty cat. And what's good about this is we can have some power on here, have some water and production, that kind of stuff, and then we can very easily route it to multiple parts of the base. So let's drop down another hub over here. And actually, you know what? Let's bring this one up here. So we do want these to just be kind of like on the outskirts of each other. You don't want too much overlap. And for the moment, even if they're a little bit further out, the way we've got ourselves set up, we can bring our little roving one to help fill in the dots here. You'll kind of see what I mean. And we got our Sterling power. Let's put that. Let's put that right there. Okay, so this right here is basically a roving drone hub, which is really cool. So if we put that in between these two, we put down some universal depots here, you'll start seeing the drones move stuff over, build, get this built, and then that'll start kickstarting the next one. It's really cool. And they should also empty this out. Great, that's getting built. Just need power for it now. I think 2 batteries to start is way more than enough. We'll probably drop down the next battery near the dome when it's built. Oh, we just have 1 battery. Never mind, not 2. Well, no, we have 2. Yeah, we have 2. I thought we had the second one there. Because everything basically has a maintenance cost, so we want to be efficient. And just because we don't have too much stuff using power just yet, there's no sense really, you know, dropping down like 10 power producers and 10 batteries, right? It seems inefficient. Okay, let's drop down our switches. And this will help us kind of control and regulate, you know, power going to areas, if we get some breaks, that kind of stuff. Help with our efficiency game. Alright, just cut that off if need be. Pardon me, guys. And still can't quite get up there just yet, so let's do some more depot construction in between. And then these are just going to essentially store everything, that's why we're using the universal. But the drones themselves will just move around the goods so that they're well evenly distributed through the whole colony. And the drones will come to these to grab, you know, materials if something breaks or if they're doing construction. So they're pretty handy to have everywhere. And then if there's a drone hub nearby, the drones can recharge off these bays. And if there isn't one, we can drop down a recharge station of our own. So we'll just do that. And then once we get the basics of the power network in, we'll start moving into water and oxygen production. And again, I'm just doing all this so that if there's a break in any of the power cables, we just isolate it. You know, not wasting power, not wasting electricity, that kind of thing. Not draining the batteries. Okay, so let's do a cut across at the midway point here. And let's put down some depots. And then we'll put this guy. And as long as he's in between the two depots, that'll help move, you know, the goods upwards. Okay, I think so far so good. Now that we're producing concrete, we need somewhere for the tailings to go, so let's put up some dump sites nearby. There's a few things that produce, you know, tailings or rocks, whatever you want to call them, right? So we need a few of these throughout the colony. And if we don't have them, production just kind of stops. So we just want to make sure we're being efficient, right? Okay, so the concrete is what we're going to be using for the wind turbines. Because like at night, obviously no solar is being produced, right? That's kind of where the batteries come into play as well. And we can see how we're doing in terms of like grid management, resource, all that kind of stuff, just by right-clicking anytime. And just over here on the right. So right now we have a power shortage and no oxygen or water is being produced. And that's, you know, that's no problem. Okay. Now you might think I have too many of these little power things down. Just you wait. We'll probably end up putting maybe double that amount down. See if I can get this just spaced properly. So this one is in range of that, which is great. And then if we have the RC rover as the bridge between the two, we'll get goods and then that produced. And then that should fill in the missing holes here. Okay, so let's start unlocking some of our anomalies here, or researching them, I should say, or analyzing, that's the word I want to use. Bonus points if it's close to home. And let's send our transport out to just collect some nearby metal. When the overhead probe searches an area, it'll detect anomalies, any underground resources. It'll also reveal surface metals. And this is fairly accurate. I did a little bit of Wikipedia research on Mars beforehand. So the surface, I mean, it's pretty much composed of iron oxide, which is why you get the kind of the tint, the red kind of color to it, and metals and that kind of stuff. A lot of silica, very very abundant. So it would not be entirely out of the question to think that this is how the surface would look with all these little scattered metal deposits, right? And meteors do crash down. Like we can't extract metal from them, just like in real life. And much to my surprise, the surface of Mars has a fair amount of water on it, mostly in the form of ice. So both poles have got ice year-round. And interestingly enough, if you were to melt all the ice at the poles, there would be enough to cover the entire surface with like multiple meters. But because Mars has no atmosphere, it can't support liquid water at this point. So any water that does, you know, melt from the caps or whatever, it only pools for a very short time at very low elevations. Otherwise, it just evaporates. So Mars, very hostile surface, but it did used to have liquid water flowing through it, and because of all of that, and erosion, and a whole bunch of other, you know, scientific things at work, the soil actually has a whole bunch of minerals in it. So there is technically the building blocks to grow like vegetables and stuff out of Martian soil. So that's pretty wild too. I was actually pleasantly surprised to hear that. The organic compounds are there. That's kind of fun. So I'll drop some you know, Mars knowledge hopefully here and there. Okay, so everything's built. looks like our power and whatnot is working. We got our batteries going. We got some turbines. We got some, you know, the little generators going. Now let's move into some oxygen and water production. Let's get some people in here. Okay, so moisture evaporators. So we have a few options here. We can, in fact, start to extract water from this deposit right here. And you would find water in and around the equatorial region as well, but it's well below the surface. And I believe it still would be in the form of ice as well. So I instead want to use our evaporators just because the maintenance cost is just metal, and metal is like super abundant, right? Whereas if we use the water extractors, I have to pay a maintenance cost of machine parts, and those we have to bring back from the planet Earth, because we can't quite make them here on the surface of Mars just yet. And the reason why I do these fun little designs and shapes here is I need different types of corners and angles so that I can maximize the producers here. So you saw the way the pipes are going to be connected. I'm going to just maximize, like super maximize efficiency here by having the water tower connect directly to our water extractor or the evaporator. And then if needs be, I can cut off all pipes in, you know, other areas and whatnot, but still be producing water. So we're just kind of going for that maximum efficiency always type mentality. So we'll overlap, get all that in place. And it might seem like we're spending a lot on this, but because of the location we started with, like metal is so abundant. And as long as we keep on, you know, searching areas nearby, we'll just reveal more and more of it. So let's send this guy on its way. Speaking of which, any more up here? And if we do reveal metal that's close to, or within our like hub kind of boundary, so like right over here, the drones themselves will automatically go out and retrieve it. Well, it doesn't look like we found any. That's okay though. Because if I right click, you can see we got lots of metal stored, so I'm not really that stressed. Anyway, you stay put. Charge your batteries, please. Check on that in a little bit, and let's just get some more areas searched. So like I said, I want to do exports as kind of our main thing. We found a lot of resources that we can dig up over in this quadrant, so this is really great. And we got some anomalies we can analyze, so that's also a bonus. And then yeah, over here, so let's go back over to this spot. So when I drop down these pipe valves, I can effectively close off the entire colony, but still be producing water and storing it. And then bonus points if we give this its own generator or like source of power, or like a battery or something, right? But let's try and cut back on maintenance costs. Maybe we'll just put a wind turbine. And then just for like added bonus, I know this seems ridiculous, but let's add another power switch there. Cool, so there's the one down. We need two though, just to be effective for a dome, so let's get a second one going. And then instead of it being like right next to each other, I'm just gonna use another corner, and then same idea, just if there's an emergency, any break, any whatever, we can just send water a different way, and then it still reaches the entire colony. Same with over here, right? We got the double, triple, quadruple. And then there's about a little cat face, right? Who doesn't want that? And another thing you can make are, you can make little roundabouts too. So we'll do that later. Okay. Now, again, it might seem like I'm using too many of these, but this is just kind of based on just my experience playing so far. So there might be something that's more efficient, but I just found that this is the best way. Initially, when I was first playing, I was like, what do these things even do with the valves? And I was using either too many or too little in the wrong spots, but I think this is a smart way to use them. And there's no maintenance cost once they're down, right? So just, you know, set them and forget them type thing. That's good enough. Let's get the rest of our bow tie done up. Alright, who is lobes? Oh, actually, that's great. Some more stuff unlocked. Who is our low battery friend? Ah, easy fix. It's our mobile drone hub. Let's move these guys up. No, I think that's actually, it's okay where it is. Let's just drop down a few more depots. And this is just for, you know, maintenance and just general collection. We'll put a recharge station right next to it because we have no drone hub. There. All right, let's get some more anomalies analyzed. And let's start producing some air now. And we'll store that, of course. Alright, so Moxie. Is there a different shape? So we need a different corner here. Use that one for a start. Excellent. I don't know if actually there's enough room for the oxygen tank to sneak in there too. Yeah, let's move that to a different spot. Just back that up. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be in here. I just feel like this is the best, you know, best way to go about it. Now, what am I trying to do with this? Let's just make our own little... Yeah, here we go. Here we go. And that's what I'm after. So, same idea. Let's put down our valves. Now, I think at this point we have essentially everything we need to get our first dome constructed without really any problems. Get rid of this kind of stuff. I'm sure there's some more metal that's been discovered that we can go and mine. Let's just charge that battery. No, I guess not. Here I'm talking about how there's like so much metal available and we can't find any. That's okay. Luckily we got tons in our storage, so. Ah, no we do not. This is actually starting to become a problem. Alright, well we're not in panic mode just yet. This is why we have our backups and redundant systems, right? We just may not be able to do any maintenance on our solar generators until we find some. Okay, no worries. We can still place down the rest of this stuff. It just won't be built just yet. Okay, so I want the dome to essentially be within the general area of just this, and we're going to have our own little separate kind of network going into it. But same principal idea. I want to be able to access the dome, you know, resource-wise from two spots. So 2 lines of power coming in, and we'll do the same thing with the pipes here. Okay, so pipe zone here, and a pipe zone there. And we're going to put down an oxygen tank and a water tower just for the thing on its own. And then this way, if there's any problems anywhere else in the base, we can cut off the dome and it's got essentially everything it needs to be self-sufficient. Gotta keep those colonists alive, you know? Okay, another sector's been scanned. Hopefully there's some metal revealed. Oh, there we go, finally. Tons of it too. See, I was panicking for nothing. So I'll set that to just get all of them. Hopefully it gets most of them in the proximity right here. I'll just send that right over to there. And because this is a zone for people, let's put down some, what am I looking for here? Ah, food depot. So we'll put down a double food depot. We'll put down 1 universal. And I want a drone charging station over here too. We have the triple, double, quadruple backup system over here. Alright, so we'll just let some metal be collected, let this all be built. But not bad. I think we have a nice little start going on right here. Very happy with this. So let's take a look at what we built here. This is kind of cool, right? So as the buildings age, or if they're, you know, like this one for example, if it's creating lots of dust, you'll see that on the buildings. So the newer stuff, nice and clean. The older stuff starting to get a little worse for wear here. But as the drones come and you know, perform maintenance or whatever, it'll look clean again, which is kind of cool. And so far it hasn't happened yet, but when the faults happen, I'll kind of show you those. But in a nutshell, we would just, you know, close off areas, right? Try to minimize our losses. Oops. A little crazy on the controls there. Forgive me. Yeah, off to a really good start, I think. Okay, so friends, what I think we're going to do is we'll end right here. And if you guys are enjoying it, you know, let me know. Drop me a comment, hit the like button, it does help. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We'll have a lot more of these kind of videos coming out. So yeah, we'll end things here. This is basically the start of our colony. Off to a great start too. And in the next episode, we'll work on getting some people in. So the first of our Mars colonists. And yeah, we'll finish with the construction, and we'll start getting our economy going, so we can start getting some exports. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. I'm really looking forward to reading the comments here. And yeah, I'll be doing some live streams for this as well. So follow me on all platforms. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Thank you very much for watching. This has been the first episode of our first look at surviving Mars, and I'm Imperial Jedi. Thanks for being here, guys. See you in the next one.